This concept is beats. What are these beats? The phenomenon of regular rise and fall in intensity of sound when two waves of nearly equal frequencies not same but nearly equal. So here you can see omega 1 which can be written as 2 pi f1, omega 2 2 pi f2. So f1 nearly equal to f2, but f1 is not equal to f2. So nearly equal frequency traveling along the same line in the same direction superimpose each other is called beats. So this is also superimposition of two or more waves here, two waves. So I have taken two waves here which is represented in blue color, the second one light black color. So let us say these two are traveling in the same direction. So this is the wave equation, and this is given by A sin omega 1t. This is also wave traveling along positive x-axis which is given by A sin omega 2t. So frequency of this one is 2 pi f1. This is angular frequency and frequency is f1. This is angular frequency and frequency of this one is f2. f1 nearly equal to f2. Now when these two moving along same direction in the same line, they may superimpose with each other. So as a result, what happens here? So in this superimposed pattern, here crest of this one is almost combined with crest of this one. So let us say this is A and this is also A because their amplitudes are equal here in this case. So we will get an equation where the amplitude will become 2A here. 2A, but this is minus A, but this is not minus A, so this amplitude will be less than 2A here. So in the same path this amplitude will be less than 2A, and this is A here and this is 0, so the amplitude of the wave produced here will be A only because this is A plus 0 here, this is A. What happens to the amplitude here? Amplitude is decreasing here. When the amplitude is decreasing, we know that intensity of the wave is equal to total energy of the wave by or the energy of the wave per unit time per unit area. This is called intensity. Energy is nothing but half Ka square. This is the total energy of a simple harmonic oscillator which can be applied for a wave also by T into A. So intensity of a wave is given by half Ka square by Ta, which is equal to half into K is equal to m omega square that we studied in the previous lesson by Ta here. So this is half into m omega square into A square. But what is this mass? Mass is nothing but density into volume omega square A square by Ta. So half into density into volume of the wave is area into length traveled omega square A square by T into A. Here area get cancelled. Length by time is equal to velocity half rho. This velocity v omega can be written as 2 pi f whole square into A square. So this can be written as rho v 4 pi square f square A square. 2 and 2 get cancelled. Intensity of a wave is given by, here you can write 2 pi square f square A square rho v. So this is the intensity of the wave. But in this intensity, what are the constant values? 2 is constant, pi square is constant. When a wave is traveling or produced from a source, frequency will never change while traveling through a particular medium. Density of the medium in which the wave is traveling is constant. Let us see if it is air. Density of air is 1.29 kg per meter cube. And velocity of the wave depends on the nature, whether it is light wave or sound wave, velocity constant. So from this data we can write intensity directly proportional to square of the amplitude. If amplitude is more, intensity is more. If amplitude is 0, intensity is 0. If amplitude is less, intensity will be less. So here you can see when these two combine, here amplitude is increasing, so at this point intensity is more. Here amplitude decreases, intensity decreases. So if you continue like this, and if you take only the crest here, only the crest of the first wave here, so we can write here crest combining with the negative value here, this is A, this is not minus, this is minus A less than this one. So here also we can write this is minus A and this is 0, so this is also minus A here. So wave will be formed like this. Once again here A and this is less than minus A, so the resultant wave will be less than the A value. So if it is A, this is less than A. So now once again this is minus A, this is less than plus A, this will become less than minus A, and this is plus A and this is minus A here. So this total amplitude will become 0 here. So here amplitude is 2A, here amplitude is or displacement is 0. We know that when the amplitude is 0, here intensity directly proportional to square of the amplitude, here intensity will become 0. Whenever intensity is said to be 0, that is fall in intensity, we call it as waning of sound. And when the intensity is maximum, where the amplitude is maximum, we call this as waxing of sound here. This is waning of sound. So this pattern will continue like this: waxing, waning. Once again waxing and waning will take place continuously at equal intervals of time. So we are going to find out this time interval between two waxings and two wannings also. So first mathematically the resultant wave displacement is given by y1 plus y2, where y1 is equal to a sine omega 1t and y2 is equal to a sine omega 2t. So if you take a common, this is sine c plus sine t, 2 sine c plus t by 2, that is omega 2 by 2 into t, and this is sine c plus 2 sine c plus t by 2 cos c minus t by 2. So this is the equation. So the resultant wave equation is given by 2a cos omega 1 minus omega 2 by t and sine omega 1 plus omega 2 by t here. So this is the wave equation for the beats produced here. So these are called beats. Equal in equivalence of time, waxing and waning is produced here. And this we know, this is the amplitude of the beats. And what is the resultant angular velocity of the beats produced here? And this is the resultant angular velocity. So omega dash is equal to the average of the two angular velocities of these two waves, which is equal to omega is 2 pi f, 2 pi into f1 plus f2 by 2 here, or which is equal to pi into f1 plus f2. Now, whenever the waxing is produced, amplitude is maximum. Waning is produced, amplitude is 0. So from this we know the amplitude equation. So if amplitude is equal to 2a cos omega 1 minus omega 2 by 2 into t, if this amplitude is maximum, we will get waxing. If this amplitude is 0, we will get waning here. So for waxing to takes place, the condition is this amplitude must be maximum. So 2 is a constant value, amplitude A of individual wave is also constant. So from this we can write cos of omega 1 minus omega 2 by t. This value must be equal to plus 1 or minus 1. So the maximum value of cos theta is either plus or minus 1. So from this we can write cos of omega 1 minus omega 2 by t, which is equal to cos 1 is possible only if it is cos 0, and cos pi, cos 2 pi, cos 3 pi, and so on, cos n pi, where n is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So from this you can see this omega is 2 pi f1, omega 2 is 2 pi f2. So you can write 2 pi f1 minus f2 by 2t is equal 0 pi 2 pi and so on n pi. So what are the times when this waxing will takes place? For the waxing to takes place, I need this time. So this 2 get cancelled. So when the waxing will takes place, the times are, first one, f1 minus f2 into pi t is equal to 0, or t can be 0 here. When t is equal to 0, substitute 0 here. 0 into anything is 0. Similarly, if you take these two, pi into f1 minus f2 is equal to pi, this pi and pi get cancelled, t will be 1 by f1 minus f2. Similarly, for the third waxing to takes place, this value must be equal to 2 pi. Once again, pi get cancelled, t is equal to 2 by f1 minus f2. The next one will become 3 by f1 minus f2 and so on, n by f1 minus f2. So what is the time interval between two waxings here? So this is the time where the first waxing is taking place. This is the time where the second waxing is taking place. This is the time where the third waxing is taking place, and so on. So time interval between two waxings is given by, that is delta t is the time interval between any two successive times, that is 1 by f1 minus f2. So I am going to write 1 by f1 minus f2 minus 0, which is equal to 1 by f1 minus f2. Similarly, the other time you can take this and this also. This is also 3 by f1 minus f2 minus 2 by f1 minus f2, which is also equal to 1 by f1 minus f2. So during this time intervals, the waxings will be produced. Similarly, in case of vanning, what happens? In case of vanning, the resultant amplitude must be 0 where the intensity is 0, and that particular point is called vanning. So for vanning to take place, I am going to take this must be equal to 0. So for vanning, cos of omega 1 minus omega 2 by t must be equal to 0. Cos omega 1 minus omega 2 can be written as 2 pi f1 minus f2 by 2 into t is equal to 0. This 2 get cancelled. Cos 0, if it is 0, this must be equal to cos 90, that is cos pi by 2 radians, cos 3 pi by 2 radians, and cos 2n plus 1 into pi by 2 radians. So from this I am going to write, if you take only these values here, pi f1 minus f2 is equal pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, 2n plus 1 into pi by 2. You can cancel this pi in each and every term. So here t is also there. So the times at which the vanning will take place here, vanning means intensity is 0. Intensity 0 means resultant amplitude is 0. Resultant amplitude means cos of omega 1 minus omega by 2 is equal to 0 takes place when it is 1 by 2 of f1 minus f2. This is 3 by 2 of f1 minus f2, 5 by 2 of f1 minus f2, and so on, 2n plus 1 by 2 of f1 minus f2. So the time at which this will take place is 2n plus 1 by 2 of f1 minus f2. So this is the time where vanning will take place, and this is the time here we have t is equal to n by f1 minus f2 is for waxing. Now after this, Here you can see the time interval between any two vannings also, that is delta t is given by this minus this, 3 minus 1 is 2 by 2 of f1 minus f2, which is 1 by f1 minus f2. Or that means here we can see the time interval between two waxings is 1 by f1 minus f2. Time interval between two vannings also equal to 1 by f1 minus f2. That's why in the definition, the phenomena of regular rise or fall of intensity of sound when two waves of nearly equal frequencies. Here f1 minus f2 nearly equal to 0. That means both are having nearly equal frequency but not equal, and traveling along same line. Due to superposition we will get this beats. But what are the uses of beats here? Suppose if you take these artists while tuning their musical instruments like a guitar and sitar, if one of the instrument is having the correct frequency, the other guitar will be played. That means the strings will be tightened so that the frequency produced by the first guitar is similar to the frequency produced by the second guitar. If these two are having same frequency, the number of beats produced will be 0. That means the artist will not hear any beats there. If they are hearing some beats, that means they are differed by some frequency. And it is also found that beats can be heard by human ear only if the difference between the two frequencies less than or equal to 10. If the frequency difference between the two musical instruments is greater than 10, then human ear cannot detect those sound waves. Similarly, in case of, let us say, if 10 musical instruments are played at a time, human ear can detect only 10 musical sounds. If the 11th musical sound is produced, human eye can receive that one, but it cannot distinguish between the 10th and 11th music. So, the persistence of hearing of human ear, persistence of hearing is equal to 1 by 10 seconds. That is time required to distinguish between two different musical notes is 1 by 10 seconds, which is equal to 0.1 second. Effect. Whenever there is a relative motion between the source and observer, the frequency of sound received by the observer is different from the frequency of the sound waves emitted by the source. This effect is known as a Doppler effect. Let us say this is an observer and this is a source here. For example, there is a bus here. This bus is moving away. For this observer, actual frequency of the sound horn is F. As it is moving away from the observer, he hears that the actual frequency is F, but the heard frequency will be less than the actual frequency. So he will listen a frequency which appears to be less than the actual frequency. For the same observer, let us say if the bus is coming towards him, if it is bus is coming towards him by blowing horn with a frequency F here, so for him the heard frequency appears to be greater than the actual frequency. Now, if the observer is moving towards a bus which is at rest, then also let us say somebody is blowing horn here, driver. So actual frequency F, as is moving towards this one, the heard frequency appears to be greater than F. Or if the observer is moving away also, then for him this heard frequency appears to be less than the actual frequency. Suppose if the both observer and bus are moving towards each other, then also frequency of the heard frequency appears to be different. Here F dash greater than real, and if the observer is moving away and the bus is also moving away from him, then also F dash will be less than F. So in these cases you can see either the observer is at rest, bus is moving. Here observer is rest, bus is approaching, bus is receding here. This is receding. Here bus is approaching the observer. In these two cases, observer is at rest. And in these two cases, the source is at rest. Bus is also called source here. Source is at rest. In this case, source is at rest and observer is moving either towards bus or away from the bus. But in these two cases, both are moving against each other, so they are said to be in a relative motion with respect to other. So here both are approaching together to each other and these are receding away from each other. So whenever there is a relative motion, that means both must not be at rest. Both the source and observer should not be at rest. There must be some relative motion. Then if the source and observer are having this relative motion, then the frequency of the sound heard by the observer is completely different from the actual frequency of the sound waves emitted by the source. And this is called Doppler effect because it is discovered by a Austrian scientist called Doppler in the 19th century. Now, here we are going to find out that frequency here. So for this, let me take one case here. Case 1. Let us say this is the source. This is the observer. In case 1, let us say observer is at rest. And the source, it may be a bus, train, car, anything, even a calling bell or cycle bell. So now the source is producing a sound which is traveling towards the observer. So observer receives this sound wave here and it is traveling at a speed of v meter per second, where v is the velocity of sound. So in 1 second, what is the distance traveled by this sound wave? X is equal to Vt plus half at square. Here, as it is not having any acceleration will become 0. I will write X is equal to Vt. So displacement traveled will be V meters in 1 second. So let us say these two are separated by a distance which is exactly equal to V meters here. Now, if the source is moving with some velocity Vs here, after 1 second, the source will reach a point S dash, but the observer is not moving. Then the waves that are produced by this wave, this source, will be reaching this point in this case. Now this distance will be within 1 second, it will travel this much distance, which is going by V minus Vs. Total distance here is V. This is the distance traveled by the source in 1 second, which is equal to distance traveled by source X. S is equal distance traveled by the source is equal Vs into T, that Vs into 1, which is equal to Vs. So this is the distance traveled in 1 second. Then these waves will be compressed and they will travel this much distance to reach the source. So what is the actual frequency of the source here? Source is producing F waves per second. The number of waves produced per second is called a frequency. So the actual frequency here is F, and here actual wavelength of the sound in the first case is lambda is equal to V by F. So this is the equation 1. But in the second case, the source is producing the sound waves. When a source is producing sound waves, frequency never changes. Whenever the source changes, frequency changes. So in the second case, in this case, the actual distance traveled by this wave in this 1 second time is V minus Vs. So what is the apparent wavelength here? Apparent wavelength of the sound. Here this is one wavelength, but this is not the actual wavelength but apparent wavelength here. So this is lambda dash. So apparent wavelength is given by velocity by apparent frequency. Now from this we can write this is the total wave here which is equal to V, but this is the total wave here which is equal to the total length of this one which is given by, here we got V by F, but here we have to write V minus Vs by F here. This is called apparent wavelength of the wave, that is total length by number of waves here. This is one wave, two wave, three wave. So total length by length of one wave, that is called a frequency. This you will be given by, this apparent wavelength is given by total length by number of waves in this distance, that is frequency. Now from this we can write what is the apparent frequency heard by the observer. The apparent frequency is given by F dash is equal to V by lambda dash. This is V is velocity of sound which is 331 meter per second. If it is not given, you can take it as 330 meter per second. And wavelength is, apparent wavelength is V minus Vs by F. So the apparent frequency in this case is, we can write this as V by V minus Vs into F, where F is the actual frequency. And it is clear that numerator is more, denominator is less, so this value will be greater than F dash. F here, F dash is greater than F. As the source is moving towards the observer, he feels that the apparent frequency is greater than this one. Why? Because numerator is greater than denominator. In the same case, let us say source is moving away. Source moving away from observer. Source moving away. Then the apparent frequency lambda double dash will be V plus Vs by F. Then this frequency, apparent frequency is given by V by V plus Vs into F. So this is the apparent frequency. As the denominator is greater than numerator, F double dash will be less than this one. So this is obviously the reason when the source is moving from the observer hears that the actual frequency is F and apparent frequency is less than this F. Case 2, let us say source is at rest and observer is here and the source is emitting waves in this direction, and this is the velocity of sound which is given by V. So what is the velocity, the frequency of the actual source? Actual frequency of the source is F. So what is the wavelength here? This is given by V by F. So this is equation 3 here. So in case 2, here source is moving. Previously the source is moving. Let us say now observer is rest, source is moving here in case 1. In case 2, source is at rest, observer is moving. So when the observer is moving, let me take this source as here, and let us say observer moved here. So this is the observer. So the waves will travel like this. So this velocity is V, and observer moved from here to here with a velocity VO, that is velocity of observer. So what is the velocity of a sound wave with respect to observer? This is given by, as these two velocities are opposite, by using the relative velocity concept, this will become V plus V naught here. So now the apparent frequency is given by F dash is equal to V by lambda. This is V dash is this much, that is V plus V naught by lambda is given by V by F. So this is the apparent frequency when the observer is moving towards the source. Let us say observer is moving away from the source here. From this position, let us say he moved away with a velocity VO. Now in this case the apparent frequency is given by F dash is equal, this is the wave that is traveling here with a velocity V, and the observer is also moving in the direction of the velocity. The relative velocity between these two is V minus V naught by V into F. So this is the apparent frequency if the observer is moving away from the source. That is case 3. observer moving towards the moving source. So source is moving towards the observer, observer is also moving towards the source. Now in the first case, when the source is moving towards the observer, we have this frequency. So for this, the actual frequency held by the observer and this reference frequency is given by V by V minus Vs into F. But when the observer is moving towards the source, this frequency is given by V plus V naught by V into F. So this apparent frequency in this case is given by V plus V naught by V into this F dash, because this frequency is this much. Because here source is at rest, but their source is also moving. So this is given by V plus V naught by V into F is equal to V by V minus Vs into F. V get cancelled. So F double dash is equal to V plus V naught by V minus Vs into F. So if both are moving each other, always you take this velocity as a positive velocity V, and if the source is moving in the same direction, relative velocity will be negative here. So you got it as a relative velocity V minus Vs. But here this velocity is opposite to this V naught, relative velocity between these two is positive. So this is V plus V naught. In the same case, if source is moving away and observer is also moving away, then here the sound is traveling in this direction. Directly I can write F as, or F star or F dash or what it will be, F dash as. Now first you write a relative velocity between sound and observer. Sound is traveling like this, observer is traveling like this. This will become same direction V minus V naught by. Here sound is traveling like this, source is moving away, so the relative velocity will be V plus Vs into F. So this is how you can remember this formula. So this is the final expression. And here if you substitute velocity of observer is 0, you will get this equation. V, this one. If V naught is 0, this one. And here this is V plus Vs when the source is moving and observer is also at rest. It is can be kept as 0. If observer also moving, use this formula. So in Doppler effect, try to use this formula and take the direction of velocity of sound as positive here, and according to this you decide whether it is positive or negative.